Yo, suppa. How's it going there, Mike?
It's going all right. It's going
Doing
all
all
right. So just
right.
for you, I'll say this little Canadian thing. Yo, sup, buds?
Yo,
There you go. Just
suppa.
for you.
Yeah, we're only at 3 viewers right now, but they'll flood in quickly.
All right. All right.
Yeah. Do you want to
Starting now.
wait?
It doesn't
Well,
matter to me. You decide.
do you decide? I decide?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we'll just start this off.
All right.
Maybe give a little history of what you did before Verus.
Ah. Okay. Um. I'll zip through it quickly, and since we have just a couple of viewers, I'll start early and zip through quickly. Like my first, actually, one of the founders of Verus originally taught me assembly language, like around 40 years ago, and uh, and I was working on 3D computer aided design systems as a with a startup that I was working with him on. That was that was David Dawes, and we we had a bunch of systems that we had sold to these manufacturing companies in Seattle, and I started working. Like I just dove in and started working on networking device drivers and different things. And so that was kind of my start. Built a multitasking system that in my, well, actually, I should say after I left that company, then I started a software company and built a multitasking system for what was PC DOS and MS DOS,
Yeah.
common operating system back then. And it actually beat Windows in an InfoWorld head-to-head review with like Windows and Desk View, and it was called OmniView. Uh,
OmniView. Okay.
OmniView, yeah, and it beat those other two. Um, but it was actually just it was just something I had written, and and I ended up getting recruited. I started that actually with my girlfriend, and I learned that's probably usually not the best way to start something. And I
Yeah.
got recruited down to a company in California to work on making OS2 work on IBM updated uh, IBM PCs, like with a special card that would actually replace the CPU and um, and a couple others like other computers. So that was where I actually first got introduced to Microsoft because Microsoft was kind of involved in OS2 and I got it all working on those machines and they wanted to know how because I actually had to write hard drive device drivers and all the low level kind of OS stuff and actually so skip over that because that was an interesting thing. I wrote some an operating system for some graphics cards actually to do like windowing and all these things. And we had some advanced graphics cards. So I wrote or modified and rewrote uh, a VGA BIOS at that time. So a lot of low level programming, you know. And then I got recruited down further south in California to work on some technologies for a small private company and did that for a couple of years until um, decided to do some other things. That was
Yeah.
a good company to work with, but it was one of those things where um, I felt like I kept building and building and building things, and and it was a lot of technology with
Yeah.
maybe uh, not as many releases for people, and I think I really just enjoy getting things out there and have people really able to use them. So I got recruited into the Windows team after that. And
That's
that was when I began and started working in kernel, and then they quickly made me the lead developer for kernel of Windows 95. And yeah, I mean, people talk about it, but when I started, Windows 95 was called Chicago, and it was going to be kind of like Windows 3.1.1 was the one before that, but with 32 bits. And they weren't planning on actually having real threads, which was one of the things that was fun to just get in. And I'd been working on threads and operating systems and other things for some time. And it's like, no, no, you have to have threads. We need to have threads. And so we, that was one of the first things that I was able to help put in there, and that was good. And so after Windows 95, we finished that up, and people said, "Hey, it's the internet's happening. Oh, geez, maybe we're a little bit late. We got to see what's everybody, pay attention, figure out what you think needs to be done." It was actually pretty cool because the model there was, the Windows 95 division just kind of turned into the internet division
hmm
and focused on what do we need. And at the time, I felt like, well, what we need is we need a Microsoft Java. And it's really interesting because three of us. Are you okay me going on this a little bit?
Oh, dude, you can ramble on as
Okay.
long as you want, dude.
All right, I'll go on a little bit more. So three of us. That was someone named Peter Kukul, someone named Robert Welland, and myself. Over holiday vacation, we all took our different Christmas vacation in different places, and I think like Robert broke his leg, and Peter was just a coding maniac, just with just insane amount of code that he'd write. He wrote like 14,000 lines over that break, and I just wanted to get the start on building the Java VM, and so I built like one part of it. Bob, Robert built another part of it, and Peter Kukul built a just-in-time native code compiler for it. All just did it on our own from scratch, but different pieces. And when we came together, it was pretty cool because we literally had no overlap. But to put the things together that each of us had done,
Mhm.
we had a running VM, a running Java VM by February.
That's awesome.
Um, and then another guy, Ian Ellison Taylor, he just happened to be really interested in building all the class libraries from scratch. And so he joined shortly after, um, and so I think it was March 7th, that would have been 1996, I guess, was
I was
the
4 years old.
4 years old. Yeah. And we were, and I was like on the phone with a vice president who was like running this. So a bunch of the senior vice presidents, they kept having meetings with us, like, what should we do? Should we do something different? Should we um, like use VB and modify that? Should we license it from Sun? Should we build something from scratch? And we were all build something from scratch, like but we were not kind of thinking about all of the legal aspects that the execs were at the time. And so they just decided that they were going to license it from Sun and we'd build ours from scratch. And so that March 7th, we had we didn't just have had a Java VM or have a Java VM. We had a Java VM that had the fastest just-in-time native code compiler, of any Java VM that was out, like running in Netscape or other things. And we were running benchmarks, just standard Java applet benchmarks on the web, way faster than any other system that was out there. And we hadn't used any of any code at all from Sun at the time. We hadn't used any of their stuff. And so we were doing this like in the process of working on the agreement, you know, Bob
Mhm.
says, well, call me. So I had this talk to do at the Professional Developers Conference, which I think was March 7th, 1996. And Bob's, having me call him every hour on the hour to talk about the new kind of terms, until like 3 in the morning. And I'm going to go on stage at 7:30 in the morning. And it's like, I don't think that I stayed awake until 3. I think we agreed I was going to stop calling him sometime around 11 or 12, and we had all the basic things figured out. And the agreement was signed, I think, at 3 in the morning before I went on stage, but we were going to go on stage either way. And so then we went on stage to announce, that we had licensed it and everything. Oh, and look at what we have. And then just blew away every other Java VM and benchmarks and everything else. That was just a little tiny group of people.
Mhm.
And that started, the Java VM team, which interestingly, a lot of people from that team went on and did a lot of other interesting things. But it was just this small group of you know developers, program managers, test managers, and testers, and and that was a really small, tight team. And so after we continued to kind of like we thought that we were running all of the tests as we should be running, and we're beating other VMs in compatibility on the web. But there were some sets of tests, I guess, that someone and like we were somehow were not being like there was a misconfiguration. We were not, at the time, like best friended. We were kind of like the redheaded stepchild, if you know what I mean,
Mhm.
of Microsoft at the time. Weren't Bill Gates' favorite team, because here we were like making Java fast, and it was, really doing like we had all these different things that we were doing and these ideas that we had. And so then, when Sun decided to sue us, there were all these conspiracy theories about, oh, Bill Gates was funding the secret effort of all these. It was like 12 of us,
Mhm.
and we were staying up till all hours of the night in the hallways talking about stuff. And I remember there was this guy named Atsushi Kanamori. He was a low level developer on the team. Um, we gave him team T-shirts just so that he would have different shirts. Even he could have different shirts, but he just never did. He didn't care. And so we'd give him a bunch of the team T-shirts, which some of them were kind of like bootleg images and things like that of different things that got us a little bit in trouble with Microsoft at times. But I remember walking over to Addy, we'd call him Addy's office, and saying, Sun was working on this way of calling out to native code, and it
Mhm.
was a lot of work. You had to build all these libraries, and you had to do all this stuff, and then you could call native code. And we wanted to have access to lots and lots of different libraries and APIs and things without a bunch of work. And we thought
Mhm.
it'd be good for developers because what we came up with. So, anyways, I went down the hall. It's like, hey, Addy, could we just like add a little, some brackets, because they had this concept of brackets with attributes you could add to things. Could we add some attributes to functions that would just say, hey, this is a native function and it maps, to this. And on any platform, if it had that native function, it would just build all that stuff for you, and you wouldn't have to build separate libraries, and it would just be an easy way to call out to native code. And we called it P invoke, for platform invoke. And Addy was like, yeah, yeah, that should work. And so the next day it was working. Well, that was actually the big conspiracy that we kind of got sued for. Was we were extending Java to reach into Windows with this conspiracy to make Windows take over everything. But it was like just making everything easier. But we kind of got caught between companies that didn't like what other companies were doing. And
Mhm.
so, anyways, then I walked in the office one day. I was the development manager for the team. I walk into the place where the managers would get together and kind of figure out what are the priorities, and it's on there's a conference call running, and Alan Baratz, the CEO of JavaSoft, spin off or like a subsidiary of Sun, was like explaining to the press how Microsoft should have been sued, and how we were being sued. I was like, wait a minute, did we? They were talking about tests and things that we were doing, and I turned to our test manager and like, is what he's saying true about tests that we're not passing? We
Yeah.
looked at it, and there was, anyways. So that was interesting, and then immediately I was yanked off of Java, and we had to go through this whole big clean room process, and then they actually, and the guy who was I would say he was our best developer, on the team at the time as well. We had a lot. No, we had a lot of really good developers on that team, and he was definitely one of them. And he ended up being that guy who took, when the initial Xbox was coming out, he took Windows and just ripped it apart, threw away, threw away most different subsystems and just built the Xbox operating system a lot himself,
That's
and
really cool.
yeah, and when I remember hearing the story, anyways, I remember hearing the story of him in a Bill Gates meeting and some other people where Bill was explaining how it really should be just Windows and everything else, and then I think it was the GM of
Mhm.
or it might have been the VP of Xbox at the time. Can't remember. I think it was the GM. Turned it on, turned the device on, and boom, it's booted. Like everyone stopped talking. Okay, let's just watch the presentation. Let's talk.
Nice. That's
Yeah. So
awesome.
so
Playing
I
some
got
Halo.
that's yeah. And so I got yanked off of the Java platform, and we went through this process of like clean room, just you know scrub everything so we didn't take any Sun intellectual property for. I mean, really expensive process, but also I guess really important in that respect. And then I went through this long process with other people who were great architects and developers, um, to convince the company that we needed the .NET runtime and the .NET platform, which at the time we called it the Common Language Runtime. That was the first um, iteration, of it. And yeah, at that time, some people not affectionately referred to me as the calm killer because at Microsoft at the time, calm was love. Calm was like basically kind of a religion. This is the component object model, and it's like it was the Microsoft model for building pluggable components and everything else. And it was giant and burdensome, and the common language runtime kind of offered this model of you don't have to do all that stuff anymore, and you'll still get all these capabilities and more. And I remember so many meetings because even though when the same person who actually developed the just-in-time compiler for Java also was on the team, and he was developing just-in-time compilers for all sorts of languages. Really good. I mean, the whole tools team at the time, and then there people on the tools team are going to be unhappy with me for saying this, but the compiler people on the tools team at the time, they eventually recognized it. Like they were just not able, no matter how many people they put on it, to make, a smaller, faster, better just-in-time compiler. And so they ended up just taking his and moving it forward. And so we were constantly having this discussion with people, especially on the comm team, or certain proponents of calm at the time, and no names, who would say, uh, this is an interpreted language.
Mhm.
I mean, it's an interpreted environment, and it wasn't. It
Mhm.
actually, we would take all of the intermediate code and we'd turn it into machine code on whatever machine we were running on, and the vision was to run on all machines. Which now, I mean, um, with Mono and with other uh, tools and libraries, I mean, it does. Although I think that the libraries for the Common Language Runtime on Windows, I'm not sure how you know um, easy it is to make really powerful cross-platform apps. But I'm gonna not assume it's not. It's just that I have been working, in other things lately with
Mhm.
Verus, and so we uh, we're always having this barrier. And I remember being in a meeting with the senior vice president with Bill, and a few senior vice presidents, but the senior vice president for actually, it wasn't Bill. He wasn't in that one. It was another uh, person reporting to him, senior vice president, and then the senior vice president for Windows, and then the people from Calm. And it was like this constant. It was a very long process to decide if Microsoft would even do it.
Mhm.
And it was actually the senior vice president for Windows, asked me, you know, well, I mean, can you imagine that someone would ever write systems code with like real systems code, like in the kernel of an operating system with the common language runtime? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. I don't see why not. And they just like laughed, and they were saying, at first they laugh at you, I guess, and they were saying, you know, laughing about it being this interpreted environment, interpreted. And I just had had enough. So I was thinking that night, like, it's not interpreted. What can you call it? What can you call it? And it's like, so I coined the term managed code, which people still use, which I was kind of proud of that people actually caught on. And and that helped to kind of change just the perception of it being interpreted. And eventually, that was when we were really still not seen as something that was going to actually happen. And then just gradually and over time, more and more people understood what we were doing, and kind of got on board. And actually, later on, before I left Microsoft at one point after doing the eHome division and actually releasing a version of Windows myself as the VP of it. Started a social network, Web5s. I didn't leave to start a social network. It was just something at a party, snapped a picture of someone. They wanted it, and I found out it was really hard to send pictures to and share with people. So I got
Mhm.
like the patent on, snapping a picture of someone and sharing it to your friends. Got the patent on that, and actually Microsoft ended up buying it along with the rest of my social network, and they got 6 patents out of that. And I ended up working on the ad platform. And then one of the tasks that I had to do there was Microsoft had just made a $6 billion acquisition uh, of a quantive, because Google had just bought DoubleClick, which at the time was like the biggest, keyword advertise. They had kind of invented keyword advertising, the biggest online advertising company. And so
Mhm.
Microsoft was kind of following a business strategy and bought the second biggest, which was a quantive, and it was like a $6 billion acquisition. And they bought Web5s back, put the technology in different places, kind of turned off the social network, and wanted me to integrate a quantive and what was Ad Expert at the time, and what was Ad Center, these 3 different advertising platforms that Microsoft had. And so I started this platform group, and managed a platform group across these different groups so that we could figure out how to integrate everything. Had the plan, it was actually ready to go. And I was working for someone who, really good guy, Alex Gunaris, who was the vice president of the ad platform, and he was reporting into Satya, who was, you know, the senior vice president for Bing at the time.
Hmm.
And somewhere along the way, a pretty unilateral decision that that I wasn't involved in until it was a decision that kind of went against what all the different groups were already working on and wanted to do, decided that we wouldn't integrate.
Okay.
And Satya made the decision that we wouldn't integrate. And so and then kind of dismantled the advertising team, but I had just developed this this goal seeking algorithm along with a couple other developers that when we turned it on, it just started generating, tens of millions a year to Microsoft's bottom line on like not even $1 billion of revenue on a
Mhm.
particular product line. It was meant for a lot more, but what happened is all of my peers were either let go or moved to kind of a different responsibility. And the VP I was reporting to was um, took a different role,
Mhm.
and I was kind of left in my spot, I think, because of what I had done. And I was not, because they wanted that in other things at the time, and I was reporting to Satya at the time, and kind of decided that that was probably not the best group for me to be in at the time, and so I ended up. This is a long story to get to. I ended up working on an operating system that was a fantastic operating system, actually, that was just this internal secret project that
Mhm.
never did actually get released. Very, very little of it, I believe. It was like incredibly capable in many different ways. And um, maybe I can't give a lot of the details, but it was a great environment to use.
Mhm.
And yeah, I was working on kernel code, managed code, kernel code in a low level operating system, with the common language runtime. So actually, and it was really high performance and a great system. So was I
That's that's really cool.
the code name was called Midori. So if there's anything about it, but I can't really probably say too much more about that. But
Nice. So that is your background.
that no,
And
that was at Microsoft, and then I went to be a CTO at a company called Parallels, and I had an office in Moscow where I had development teams, and in Russia who I'd work with, and was basically the CTO and chief architect for things across the company, which was a lot of fun. And basically then had a person who I felt would be a better chief architect, Max Kuskin, and he was working for me at the time, and helped to organize a number of things that we did. That was actually more identity work. We built this single sign-on kind of identity system across um, this platform that was used for high-scale application provisioning for telcos and service providers. I see you wanting to stop for a minute and let's talk about something else. That was my background, and so I did do a little bit of I did do consulting. I was working on machine learning consulting, and that brought me to Verus. But that story's out there. Most of this, I don't think, is out there. So
oh, okay. Nice. Okay. So, how did that go from you being interested into crypto and without defining Verus, how did that go from you being interested into crypto?
okay. So I knew about Bitcoin when it first came out. I mean, a lot of us knew about it. Um, you know, I didn't get really a lot of interest in what was special about Bitcoin uh, for a couple of years. And then a few years later, I was thinking, maybe I should get a bunch of Bitcoin. And I just was always too busy, never did.
The
And
classic.
and that's okay,
Too
but that's fine. That's
too
fine
much
because,
effort, right? Too much effort to
well,
invest, right?
no, I mean, I was just too busy. I mean,
Yeah.
I was just too busy. And it wasn't that I thought there was anything, you know, wrong about it. It was really, I just didn't understand at the time why it was really so important. And, and I mean, in the advertising platform, and I was figuring out how to get more and more information, and I would say a little bit naive about, until I learned as, in that role, what is really known about us, and how much is tracked and how much information can be figured out about everybody with these centralized systems. And um, and so I was doing machine learning and big data consulting, and I built a machine learning system for a large email system that would privately read emails, figure out like who they were to, even if that wasn't the email address, or I mean from, even if it wasn't the email address, and likelihood of these things, and if it was stuff you'd probably consider important based on your habits and things,
Mhm.
um, subjects, whether it was kind or really unkind, this kind of stuff. And I was reading an email. This is right before Verus, and so you asked me, I'll step back a second. Crypto. So when I did finally look into crypto as, more of just kind of interest in crypto, because of my experience with .NET, when I looked at Bitcoin and I looked at Ethereum, which were the two, to me, Ethereum looked to me at the time like it would be um, further ahead, because I believed, my experience with virtual machines, runtimes, platforms, these kinds of things led me to, I had maybe some prejudice, pro Ethereum, and didn't really, until I started looking into the programming model, um, come to believe that maybe that wasn't, in fact, the way that we needed to evolve. Because very early on, there were, or maybe it was an easy way out to try and get functionality instead of actually doing the hard work, which I've seen a lot of times, after 4 decades, I've seen a lot of times.
Mhm.
And it, in my experience, always ended up being the wrong way to go over time.
Yeah.
And, and so as I perceived it, and I've seen this, some X post about this even today, as I perceived it, people said, okay, here's this protocol that allows everybody in the world to collect, like to agree on something, a ledger, just a simple, I mean, it's simple numbers, just some basic numbers through this cryptographic way of competing, whether it's proof of work or even with Verus proof of power, it's still the same idea, and it's just agreeing on a number. And I saw that as something that could be applied to so many other capabilities, like we now have IDs and, you know, um, cross-chain communication and DeFi and these things. And I think that, the way that I see it, it seems like some people, maybe without as much kind of experience in building systems, looked at it and said, oh, wow, if we build a general purpose computer over it, then everybody will come and build all the things over it that would take us a long time to build and design. So let's just build that one Uber, you can build everything over it and then let it happen.
Mhm.
And I don't think, like, that was more like DOS,
Yeah.
back around, because it's not a system as much as it's just a raw computer without, um, it was really early on that I started to see bugs that would result, smart contract bugs that were just kind of not, I understand that there can be bugs in software, but
Mhm.
smart contract bugs that were just elementary smart contract bugs, and especially in the early days,
Yeah.
in this really complex programming environment where people were putting in, millions or hundreds of millions of dollars on ICOs and different things, and it was like this emerging financial network with no foundation of security for everything except for the single currency, just like Bitcoin controls and audits this single currency. Ethereum controls and audits a single currency, and the rest of it is just this computer that doesn't know anything about currencies, or if they put IDs on it or these things. So I had this idea that was, um, with the machine learning work, was not about money actually. It
Mhm.
was about really getting the truth and figuring out a platform that could scale to everyone in the world. That was like one of the foundational ideas of what we needed. Could scale to everyone in the world, allow people to agree on, all sorts of, information, and share information, rate information, and you needed some foundations. It's what we talked about in the vision paper. You know, and by having that, I realized that I could get training data that could be as close to what we could call truth from people as possible, that could be used to train machine learning systems like the one I made for email, and
Mhm.
help us as humans have like a digital immune system against all of the propaganda that's basically was, gaining and gaining steam. Um, but in order to do that, we needed something that scaled to the world, that had the ability to have privacy so that people could actually tell the truth without worrying about, you might say different things if you're in a group of friends, if you're in a group of coworkers as an employee, or if you're in a group of, your parents and their friends. People might answer differently. And with privacy and the ability to retain that privacy when you're talking about things, you can answer truthfully, you
Mhm.
know and there could be, in some places in the world, you could have actually really serious repercussions for being truthful. But this was just, you know being able to allow people to have incentivized participation, the concept of, you know earning for doing these kinds of things, which is now possible. Like, people can actually build those kinds of apps now on Verus, and they could scale to the world. But the idea was, with that, we could have nice things again, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so that actually, and I found people who agreed with that. That was the foundation of Verus. And in order to do that, we needed multi-chain because we needed scale. And Ethereum did not look like it had a hope of scaling in a decentralized way for a long, long time, with a lot of resources that, every single person's just a drop in the bucket. With this, I saw a path through to make it scale out, and it could still work with Ethereum and all the others. And then, privacy, that was the connection with, zero knowledge proofs and Zcash. And all of these components, these were necessary to enable this vision that actually I felt was really more important for, like, you know, my kids and people and this kind
Mhm.
of thing, than it was about trying to get money. It was something that, needed to be infrastructure that people needed. And I didn't really see, like, Bitcoin was kind of back and forth on these blockchain size wars, which just seemed ridiculous, honestly. I'm sorry. Uh, One second. Let's see.
Yeah, your audio went a little weird
Yeah,
there
it's
for a second.
Can you hear me now?
You're very, very quiet.
All right. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Technical difficulties.
Hey,
That's fine.
and come right back. Okay.
Pardon me?
Let's see. Okay.
Okay, he has now left the stage. Now it's just me. Okay.
Because now I'm going to be quieter, I think, because this is why we switched to that other microphone, the headphones.
Yeah?
But they ran out of batteries.
Oh, they ran out of batteries. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You gotta get yourself a mic, like a USB mic.
I have a USB mic and it just seems to be too quiet. That's
Oh, okay.
the problem here.
Cool. So you pretty much like I was gonna ask you the question on why you made Verus, but you kind of answered that on, how you got interested into crypto.
Oh, sorry.
Now, in the simplest terms,
I'll
can
be shorter now.
in the simplest terms, can you define what Verus is?
Sure. Verus is an unlimited scale. Well, Verus PBAS, I think of it as now. So Verus is actually a blockchain using the PBAS protocol, and it's the first and the one where you launch other blockchains, but they're once launched completely independent blockchains of their own with PBAS capabilities. And Verus PBAS is an unlimited scale multi-blockchain network that supports Verus IDs with revoke and recover that are both friendly name resolvable addresses that can also have data index databases in every single one of them with unlimited amount of data that they reference and prove, as well as unlimited numbers of currencies and NFTs and MEV resistant DeFi built into the L1 protocol level and privacy and private transactions for all native currencies across all PBAS chains in the network using the sapling type of zero knowledge proofs and private encrypted data for applications. And then it does so much more, like log in with Verus IDs for applications, and you can there's a payments capability that allows you to if you're a vendor, request a certain currency, and because there's this MEV resistant DeFi capability, you can actually depend on the protocol to know that you can convert. The payer could use any currency that they have that's convertible into the currency you want and just pay in that way. So it's an unlimited scale network that really can provide everyone in the world with IDs, can serve everything from real world asset applications to supply chain management to even, it could serve purposes of corporate accounting, but also public blockchains because you can connect. You could connect a corporate blockchain launched it with this, or a government blockchain even launched with this, to the rest of the public blockchains and the public blockchain networks that are run by the people in the world, and not the company and not the government. And you can also connect Verus. Well, Verus is directly connected in a provable way to the Ethereum blockchain, and you can take any currencies that are launched on Verus or on any of the PBAS chains across the Verus PBAS network, and you can send those to Ethereum, and you can send any of the currencies on Ethereum over to those chains as well. And it can be used for all sorts of applications from DeFi and commerce, and there's a metaverse, the Valueverse, VALUVERSE, that's built using the Verus protocol underneath for ownership and login and these things. And you could even do, voting, like confidential, verifiable, and transparent polls and elections at any scale in the world. So that's Verus in a big nutshell.
That's very cool. Can I tell you what I like about Verus?
Oh, the mining, maybe. Yes, yes, please.
Um,
I didn't
so
mention that.
I like that nobody's above anybody else. So I feel like what I contribute to Verus is like just as important as what you contribute to Verus. I show people how to get into mining. And I thought it was genius that you kept it to CPU mining because now you have people. So I'll give you an example. I had a kid in Cambodia who made little to no money at all, but electronics there were very, very cheap. So he was able to set up his own Verus farm and actually make, real money versus,
Great.
the little money that he got from his actual job. So that is why I really like Verus and yeah, I like that. Everybody seems to be on an even playing
Yep.
field
Yeah,
and
I don't run it. I don't control it. I'm a contributor. Just
yeah.
like when we were at Consensus, we had so many contributors there. We had 34 people at Consensus who came either on their own dime or from donations. And everybody had talents, like there were so many things done that I wouldn't be able to do. I couldn't do these different things. And everybody came together and contributed in all their different ways, and that is what makes Verus. And you're absolutely right about that. And yeah, I am another developer. I am one of the developers in Verus. And
Yeah.
and and you're right about everybody. That was actually in the presentation that we gave at the booth. You know, everyone has something to contribute, and it doesn't matter if they're a dev, and it doesn't matter if they contribute in videos and mining and helping people understand, and it doesn't matter if they contribute in designing, this most awesome booth that we could have, and it doesn't matter if they contributed like Rozo in bringing together all the different logistics and pieces of what we did at Consensus. So that one of the hardest things, I was surprised, people believed after we explained how that we solved MEV, which on X, the way people respond, you would think it's so hard to believe, but people believed it at Consensus, and,
Yeah.
and people believed that we solved scale when we explained how. But you know what they didn't believe? What was so hard for people to believe was that we did everything we did there, including the booth and including all the materials and all the people there and everything else, without a company, without some person with a bunch of money behind the scenes, like
Because it was funded by the people, right? Yeah.
exactly. It was
Yeah.
all like donations and people showing up from all around the world on their own dime, and it was just and people just coming to the booth and me going around doing interviews and people. I was at the booth trying to help people and different people there, and I did some giveaways, and it's like from my wallet, like
Yeah.
they're giveaways at the end of like a talk there, because yeah, I feel like doing that and showing people how things work. And we had some media going around like to different people asking to see if the stories would line up, because they were just so skeptical that it was true. So it's kind of funny what you're saying is exactly that. That's like, what other project aside from it seems like Bitcoin in the early days actually works like that?
Yeah. And also another thing I like about Verus is that it is actually 100% true DeFi. I don't think there is any other project that is actually 100% true DeFi, and Verus is 100% true DeFi.
Yeah,
Even like the developers mine their own coins. So like that to me just like screams honest. That's what my channel's about is honesty and being authentic, and my channel's about making people money. And if I get a sponsorship and I don't think it's good for the people, I will tell them straight up, like, don't get into this project. And whenever I get offered a sponsorship, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be 100% honest with my audience about, if, yeah. But I was very jealous. I wanted to go to Consensus 2024 and wear my paperclip shirt.
What happened?
And, pardon me?
You weren't able to?
No, I wasn't able to. I'm in BC, and that would have been quite the expensive flight for me. But I wish I could have gone. I saw Luke Wainwright, and he was taking a bunch of pictures, and I was jealous. And yeah, I thought it would have been fun to wear
Next
my
time we'll
paper
have to. Next
shirt.
time, first of all, next time maybe you'll be in a different position, and if you're not, I mean, donations can work too. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I'm sorry that you didn't make it too, especially knowing now that you wanted to go.
yeah.
Sorry that you didn't make it. But there was something that you said that I actually wanted before that, and that got me like focused on you not being able to make it. Oh, the DeFi.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were there was another presentation that we had there. I think it was real decentralized finance or something like that. And when we were working on it, someone said, who was working on it? I think it was Michael Toot Jr. actually, and said, well, cross chain's DeFi too, right? And I thought, and I was buying into this, the term DeFi as defined by Ethereans and other, VM-based chains. And I said, well, cross chain and DeFi are actually kind of separated. Like one happens as protocol at the L1 level on the chain, and the other one happens also as but they're not. They can leverage each other, but they happen kind of separately. They're separate processes of protocol in a way, both on the chain. And so if cross chain was DeFi, then sending some currency from one person to another on the blockchain would also be DeFi. And so, since kind of that's not, and then later we realized actually Bitcoin and sending currency from one person to another on the blockchain, that's the original DeFi. That is DeFi.
I'm pretty sure Satoshi Nakamoto would be proud of your project.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. But the point I want to make is that that's DeFi, and to not call that DeFi is not right, because that was the original, the OG decentralized finance. What is it if somebody sends something to someone else without any intermediary? And now what we call DeFi, is usually a company that is an intermediary in one way or another. Like there's some cut that's going to either like a DAO or a group, and that isn't a protocol. It's an app running on top of this, worldwide computer. And a lot of maybe all of those, I don't know if there are any that don't really fit that definition of the same level of decentralization as a blockchain. And that is what we built, is a protocol, not an app, at the blockchain consensus level. And I don't know of another. And that was actually how we were able to solve MEV. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because actual decentralized finance is a protocol, and I think it basically needs to be rent free, or whoever's taking rent is the intermediary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So
So I think my next question, is there ever an end goal for Verus, or is it just always going to be expanding?
so Verus as a platform, so I even in an interview at the at Consensus, I said, the Verus protocol is basically done. It's like there really aren't significant next capabilities that we must do in order to kind of complete and round out the vision. But after saying that in an interview, then we had this, you know, evening with like after the show with all different people there, and there was a consultant from DC who consults to like a bunch of different departments in the government that ended up somehow hanging out with us afterwards, and there were different people from, you know, all over the community, and we just were talking about different things, and I realized like there are some things, you know, most like there's nothing that's absolutely critical, and we need to have a kind of this ossification in a certain way, you know, for things to basically not like we have no interest in churning, you know, upgrades or anything like that. And so we've been at a really breakneck pace of innovation over the last 6 years. And then we got there. We really did to get to it there, you know. And now applications have so much capability to be first of their class to build on this platform. I mean, this is an applications platform, you know, think about it. And it's a different relationship between applications and the blockchain. And I think a much better relationship between applications and the blockchain than what you see in the smart contract app model. You know, and we talked about how to build drop boxes on blockchain as we talked about how to build, you know, different kinds of commerce systems or different kinds of voting systems, or some people were talking about, you know, leveraging it for defense networks and things like that. You know, I mean, there are like so many different kinds of application, or supply chain, you know, or real world assets. You know, what do you do in real world assets except bind like human contracts, you know, to things like IDs, which is trivial to do in Verus at any scale. You know, people were talking about the whole farm to table tracking of things, you know, it's just, and every single, and like running large communities, you know, that exist. So I think right now is a period of growth in use. Like I mentioned earlier, I think I talked to people who basically I know of, you know, a number of blockchains that are working on launching on the protocol, you know, to extend the network even more broadly. And every blockchain is new. Oh, shaking the table a little bit. Every blockchain is new bandwidth. Every blockchain is new capabilities, and hopefully with every blockchain, you know, people come along to help improve the system, and that protocol that, like Linux, where all the people running, you know, on Verus are like right now sharing this protocol, and we can all improve it, make it better. And so there are things that I thought of. They're mostly on the smaller end. There are a couple big things, but right now I'd like to, you know, we're a community, so I'm going to take a little bit of a like rest from the giant vision thing, and maybe then we work on a.
We are a community.
Yeah.
I always say I'm part of the Verus community.
You are. So I think we take a, you know, a step back, and it's probably going to be a time to update the vision, and there's some things that, you know, to improve, but I think right now we're so capable that it's really important and a good thing for anyone who does it. You know, we didn't ever ask for VC money. You know, and VCs even visited the booth, and what people were telling them is, you know, well, we're not really looking for VC money. We're a community, and it's an open community project that's rent free. VCs can get in just like they could get in with Bitcoin, you know, but that's not the same. They don't control it. And yet VCs looking to have an advantage over any project built on any other protocol should be looking to understand it so that their startups and entrepreneurs, you know, can have an advantage over the others who don't get it yet. You know what I mean?
Cool. Right on.
Yeah.
Nice. So we've been talking for an hour, and you said you had about an hour.
I did, and let me just check something real quick.
Go ahead.
Let's see. Yeah, so I can go, let's see, I think I can go another like 10 or 15 minutes. So
Okay.
you said you wanted maybe to do a Q&A or something, right?
I was gonna open the chat to questions. The chat's been very quiet, so I think they've just been listening to us. But
All right.
now is your opportunity to ask Mike anything you want about Verus. And my request is I want an auto update button on the Verus desktop. That is what I want. That's the only thing I want out of Verus is an auto update.
Well, hold on one second. The challenge is that it would have to go on the desktop because the daemon is it's a pretty difficult thing to do in the daemon. It's conceivable someone could do it, but I would hope that somebody would come in and say, I'd like to make that and contribute that. But you know, the reason that we never prioritized that, and there are other things I'd like there are other things. The mobile wallet has a lot of capabilities now that need to get back into the desktop wallet. And there's work going on in the mobile wallet that's even going to extend that. It'd be really important to get that back in the desktop. But there are, the reason it never really became a priority is this whole concept of not wanting to force updates on people, you know, but being able to click like an auto update option or something like that, I think would be a nice feature. But I'm sorry, right now, I don't know that it's going to make it to the top priority of the people who are core working on wallets right now in the community. But totally, if anybody is capable of doing it and can do it safely and securely in a way where in the desktop, you know, to be able to do that, we'd be happy to look at a PR.
Okay, we got one question here. Are there master nodes in Verus, and what are the requirements to run one?
There aren't any master nodes in Verus. We don't see a reason for it. The protocol, but bear with me because I think that there are better options. The protocol is called proof of power, and it's 50% proof of stake, 50% proof of work. And, you know, like I do mine and I do stake, and anything I mine just stakes. And, you know, there's no reason to lock up coins because we already addressed 51. I think we were the first to have a proof that we actually addressed 51%, you know, hash attacks. And so we didn't really see any need for master nodes except as a centralizing force. And we didn't take any pre-mine ICO or development fee or anything from the protocol. In fact, the founders donated most of our early mining and staking, you know, to the basically to a private foundation that then was just on its own decisions, just using those resources to give out to the community and things that it believed needed to happen. So no master nodes, don't see any reasons to have them. And if you have any amount of Verus in your wallet and you turn on staking, then you're staking. So if you wanted to lock up as much as you might in a master node, you can lock that up and, you know, probably do pretty well on staking as well.
Nice. I have a lot of viewers, but the chat is very, very quiet. So come on, chat, bring on some questions. Nice.
It's all right. I mean, I'm open to any questions at all. So if people do have, you know, any random question, then
I guess as questions come up, Mike, I'd have to say you're probably one of the nicest guys I've ever talked to on now called X. Because
that, but thank you.
Because I was remember when I was gonna send you the personal phone miner.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I just gotta wait for my next paycheck and then I'll have enough money to ship it. You're like, no, really keep it for yourself to mine. And I was like, no, I made this for you. Yeah. You're just like such a nice guy. And yeah, that, that put more trust in Verus for
Okay.
me.
Yeah, no, and that's an awesome phone, and thanks for the help on any questions I've had on it too. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm glad that you got to a gigahash, and want to see you get there again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely will get there again. All right. Hey. Oh, we got a super chat, a $10
Oh,
donation.
wow.
Okay. How has Verus evolved since the original vision paper? And thank you very much, Heralax, for the $10. I super appreciate that.
That's a really good question because, and it might be a disappointing answer because probably the only thing that was not envisioned in the vision paper, including, we even have LLM work going on now with training, on an LLM, and that's taking data about Verus right now. There'll be more, I think, taking data from the blockchain and doing it. To teach an LLM, you know, that was one of the original purposes for starting the Verus network. And so the only there, like the community, just in meetings and questions and these lots and lots of capabilities and features, because the devil's always in the details, it's like, as they say. And a lot of feedback and a lot of ideas that came from the community are now in there, but it didn't necessarily change the vision. It just kind of like there's a vision, and then you have like and it gets better. The colors are more vivid, and the
Things
details
naturally evolve,
yeah, and
right?
the details come out, but the same core vision is there. Like it literally, the amazing thing, and I said this at consensus, is that, and I kind of alluded to it in different things that I had worked on in just about every project that I mentioned that I had worked on. I alluded to, things that happened along the way that resulted in it not actually being the vision that I believed it could be, not reaching the potential that I believed it could reach at the beginning. I would say that applies to every single project, every single thing that I started or was working on in any big company, and with Verus, I can really say that where we are now fulfills the concept of the original vision absolutely. I did not at the time believe that we were going to solve MEV. There was no term MEV at the time. And actually, I believed that we would have DeFi in the protocol, but I did not believe, that we would have the need for these different things, because I didn't fully understand the need and how important some of these things were. And so that's some stuff that wasn't in the original vision that has evolved and is, I would say, kind of a major capability of the platform that I don't know of any other platform that has. But everything that we have is basically fulfills all of the technology, all of it that we described in the vision paper, but in a much more complete and vivid and finished and functional way than was detailed, or is a lot of the expansiveness of the current vision came from all of the years through all of the discussions and everything else in the community, regardless of who built what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so I can't say that it has like taken any kind of a turn, or that it is very different from what we would have hoped. But as projects go, it is the one that I've worked on that really feels like it is a realization of that vision and more, that original vision and more. I'd like to see apps doing the things that we described, but they can now. And so, might be interesting to even get involved in building some of those, and I see apps that are being built on it that they're not necessarily all of the ones that we described in the vision paper, but I see that they will be. You know what I mean? I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And there's, I guess you have time for one more question, but I'm pretty sure you answered most of this question. But what's the long-term goal of Verus, and who is the target consumer?
Consumer. So, okay. Verus is a platform, literally infrastructure for the world to run everything from commerce. It's a new application model that includes strong provable data and identities and commerce and privacy and currencies and DeFi. But it is not a company, and we don't. When it says target consumer, I'm a little bit on the fence because a lot of people say target customer, and we don't have customers. We have users, and I don't know if you consume Verus, you use it. And so I'm not trying to be like a stickler for it, but what I mean is that we don't like, you can go to a lot of different projects and you can say like, who's your target customer? And it'll make sense. Every single person in the world can get an ID on Verus. Every single person in the world can use it for payments with whatever cryptocurrency or fiat currency they like to use. And it's better and faster and less expensive, than any other solution for so many things, including building highly scalable applications, that it's as much infrastructure as the internet. Verus PBaaS is an actual internet as long as it just has connectivity, and it doesn't even need DNS to actually run, and it has a friendly name worldwide asset controlling namespace along with it. So yeah, it's not one of those projects where we're going to narrow it down and say, oh, it's like some vertical thing, because it's not. It's really for everybody. And that's why it had to be rent free. And that's why you're saying, it's the community. That's had to be that way. It had to be. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, and he said very, very, very valid. Just had to ask.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, that is about the 15 minutes you said you had. It was only 2 questions. I was expecting way more, considering there's 17 viewers, but that's okay. Those 2 questions were good questions.
Yeah.
But hey, thank you very much for coming on to my live stream, and I super appreciate you just taking the time out of your day to come on to my stream. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, and you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you. All right.
So yeah, cool.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right. I'll catch you later there.
All right.
Mike.
Thanks.
Nice. Now it's just me. Cool. Do I continue the stream, or do I just do you guys want me to keep going, or do I I really gotta take a pee break. Okay, I'm gonna take a pee break. You guys take a vote if I keep streaming or I end the stream. Oh, wrong one. This one. And I'm back. Good interview. And up to you, bro. I'd like to keep streaming. I mean, might have to run to the liquor store, buy my 0% beers. I mean, I have one monster left. I'll drink this monster. Actually, no more 0% beers tonight or today. I'll take a break today. I'll just have monster today. Okay. Is it possible to mine Verus on an iPhone? Yes, 100%. It is possible to mine Verus on an iPhone. But the mega hash that you get is very, 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 very low. So you are better off selling your iPhone and going out and buying a lot of phones that are either need a repair or, if you go to cryptocrypto.com and you take the money that you sold your iPhone with and bought Orbic toys, you would have a way higher yield in Verus. So yes, it is possible to mine Verus on an iPhone. I've done it myself. The chips aren't very good for mining Verus, but yes. I would suggest selling the iPhone and going to crypto.com and buying Orbic toys. Humanity deserves Verus power technology and application. This was amazing. Thank you. It's awesome. It's awesome because I thought it was going to be very, very awkward, but Mike was very, very good at just talking, and I didn't really say much. I got to say what I liked about Verus, but I didn't get my damn auto update button. That's all I want in Verus. All I want is to open up Verus desktop, and instead of a suggestion of, because when you update your Verus desktop, you have to uninstall it, and then you have to delete the original files, and then you have to go and their website and then download the latest one. I just want an auto update function. Only thing I want in Verus. And it doesn't seem like I'm gonna get it. And thanks for stopping by, Trade Intuition. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Yeah, it seemed like a lot of that stream was people listening. It's cool. I think that was my highest amount of streamers I've had, or viewers I've had in a lobby before, so you know. And once again, thank you, Hairlax, for the donation of $10. I super appreciate that. Very helping. So when Verus IDs first came out, I bought one right away so I could have paperclip. So I wouldn't have to have like a number or something behind it. I am at paperclip. So I got mine. Yo, Red Hat Mining, what's up, bro? You just missed the whole interview with Mike. I don't want to say his last name. I'm gonna butcher it. But yeah, I just had an interview with Mike, one of the founders of Verus. It is really hot in here. And I'm wearing this Verus sweater. 1 second, I'm gonna open up my screen door and take the sweater off. Actually, it's intermission time. I haven't had a cigarette. So I'm going to have, I don't have a cigarette break. Intermission's fine. So this one will have to do. I'm back from my smoke break. Uh-oh. My hair's all messed up. Did I fix it? There we go. Well, like I said, you're better off just selling your iPhone and just buying better phones. If you could, I don't know what type of iPhone it is, but if you get a few $100s for it, you could get like a couple S10s, you know, and you get a way higher mega hash. So yeah. Yes, I can mine off the Verus desktop app on my desktop on my MacBook, but that's just solo mining, and it's like 4 mega hash. So it's solo mining with 4 mega hash, so it's not worth it at all for me. Nice. It was funny though, because during the interview with Mike Tout, I had some questions I wanted to lay out, but then he would almost answer the next question, and it was like I didn't get the chance to, you know, ask the question. He just, you know, answered it for me before I could ask it. But no, he was a very good guest to have on. So I got a Verus shirt and a Verus hoodie, and they were given to me for free because I am a Verus influencer and I helped out the Verus community. There's actually a Verus shop. One second, let me see if I can link it. It's on their website. One second. But there is a I just asked the Verus Discord if they could send me the link. But you can Verus Joe might know. Well, what's the website that you can buy Verus merch off of with Verus? Yes, Mike Tout was a Microsoft dev. He worked right alongside with Bill Gates, that evil Bill Gates. Me and my right-wing conspiracy against Bill Gates. Worked right beside him. Who's Dave the plumber? Oh, Dave Plumber. All hail Dave Plummer. Oh yeah, Bill Gates is like, he is the devil. Like, no, but there was an actual website you could go to, and you could buy merch. But I got a coupon, and I got to pick what I wanted to buy from the store, and I picked a t-shirt and a sweater. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Give me a second. I mean, anything with major money involved and you're at the top, you're probably the devil. There's not very many honest guys. And that's why I like Mike Tout, because he is a very honest guy. I mean, for God's sakes, he mines his own coins. You know, his the guy who started it mines his own coins. So, you know, that just goes to show you. I think if there was paperclip ink, I think I'd be a non-evil head guy. I feel like I'm a pretty honest man. I couldn't find my chain. I wear a chain in every video, but I don't know where it is. I feel naked without it. I'll just pop on my other necklace. Now we got 2 necklaces on the way. No, this necklace has to be inside. Paperclip P-Bass coin. We should make the paperclip P-Bass coin and help fund paperclip. It's all about funding paperclip and making paperclip richer. Paperclip the devil. I mean, I would say I'm quite the opposite of the devil. Because my last video on my second channel was a video about me giving my life to Christ. So that who sent me the coupon a long time ago, but there is a website. Is this one? Nope. Okay, I'm gonna find it. There is a website. This one? No. Nope, too long ago. I don't think I'll ever find it. Not over religious, still singing the Verus gospel. What is the Verus gospel? Mike Tout did send me a song made by one of the community members. But I have to buy it. There is Verus hats. Mike Tout was just saying, I was gonna make the joke in the beginning. I'm like, hey Mike, I'm wearing my Verus hoodie. Where's your Verus merch? And he's like, I could wear my Verus hat, but I'm wearing my headphones. So Verus hats do exist. Don't say all hail paperclip. I'm just your average guy. I'm really a nobody. I'm just paperclip. Oh, COVID. Oh, Craig, you missed the whole interview with Mike Tout. He pretty much led the whole interview. I didn't really have to say much at all. Yeah, you can catch the replay. No, it was funny because he was like, here, let me just turn the music down a bit. He was saying, I have about an hour, and I was like, okay, cool. I will interview you for an hour. And then I asked him what he did before Verus, and I look up at the time and it's like 30 minutes, and I'm like, he still hasn't finished talking about it. what he did before Verus. I'm like, oh no. Like, how many Verus questions are we gonna, or how many Verus topics are we going to actually get into? But yes, you can go back and you can catch the replay for sure. Yeah, and unfortunately his microphone batteries died, so his audio quality diminished. But still, you were able to hear him. Such a nice dude though. Like, really, honestly, he is just such a nice dude. Yeah, he's got a lot of passion for the project. Like, Honestly, he's like so busy with the project. Like I had to like I'm surprised because like literally like it was yet last night I asked, "Hey, do you want to like?" Because I asked him like maybe a few days ago if he wanted to be uh interviewed on my live stream, and he's like, "Oh, I'm very busy with consensus. Might had to be it might have to be at a later time." And then like literally I asked him like, "Hey, when can you do after consensus was over?" I asked him like, "Hey, when can you do an interview?" And he's like, "Well, I can do one tomorrow." And I was like, "Done." So I got the interview with Mike Tout. And then I think one of my next interviews is going to be an interview with a member of Acrast. So I'm very interested in Acrast. They're not even listed on an exchange. The coin doesn't even have a value yet. It's brand new. So yeah. No, dude, Mike Tout is so chill. Like he is like the chillest dude in the world. Yeah. No, Acrast seems very interesting because you're offering your processors to do jobs for people, and yeah, it's cool. So I have 10 phones right now mining Acrast, and yeah, it took a little hit on my Verus mega hash because I had to use my Orbic Joys because you need a decent phone to mine Acrast. Isla coin, they forked a CPU mineable algo. Okay, that's cool. That's interesting. I'm always interested in CPU mineable coins because if it's, can you mine it on your phone? No, Rivu, you were there for most of it. Like, I think you were the most active in chat, and Nick Connor. Nick Connor was definitely the most active in chat. It's up 50%. Nice. I keep hearing about grass, and I'm on the fence of I'm on the fence of doing a video on grass because I wanted to keep anything mining related off my main computer, but I'd have to put it on my main computer, and yeah. And I don't know. I might do a video on grass. We'll see. But after this live stream, I will be doing a cleaned up version on how to set your phones up for Acrast. So like is grass like passive? Like do I have to surf the internet at all, or is it like, I know it's bandwidth sharing, right? If I'm not mistaken. Okay, just make sure it's connected. Okay, I'll put it on my main PC and I will make a video on it. Crash just runs in the background. Well, actually, it's probably a better option to put it on one of my PCs that are running a node because those are running 24/7 and my main PC is not running 24/7. So, oh, you can use a phone. You can use a 32-bit phone. Because I have a 32-bit phone that is doing nothing. Yes, sir. Okay. I will see if I can get grass running on an LG G4? 3 or 4? We'll see if we can get it running on there. If it can, that'd be awesome. Oh, but another thing about that is if it's bandwidth sharing, you might want 5 gigahertz internet available. You're talking about Pi. Yeah. I've known about Pi since like beginning of the last cycle. I think it's too late for me to enter Pi. I wonder what's gonna happen with Pi when they finally release. Because I know Pi is going to be released when they have a certain amount of KYC people membered. Oh, you don't know if it's available on phone yet. It probably isn't then. Then yes, I will have to run it on one of my computers. Yeah, that's the thing. KYC, and then you yeah, once the allotted number of people that they want for KYC is fulfilled, that's when the coin is going to be released. And I can only imagine there's going to be a massive sell-off as soon as that coin is released. So no, I'm almost positive that is what Pi wants, is the KYC. Okay, right here. right here. Put it in chat. 10 million pioneers have KYC'd into the project. That is when they are going to release the coin. That was just copy and pasted from a website. So can you run nodes on iPhones? I'm not too sure. I know like Larissa, you can run nodes, but I'm not too sure if you can run it on an iPhone, but I know you can run it on an Android phone, but I would never ever buy a Larissa node again. How was everyone tonight? I'm doing freaking awesome. I just interviewed Mike Tout. So how was Larissa doing today? Oh, only going down, down, down. Night. It's only 4 p.m. Nice. You must be on that Eastern time. See, I'm worried to put grass on my main PC because I am already running a bandwidth miner, or a grass on any of my PCs because I already am running a bandwidth miner, and before I have ran a bandwidth miner, it has affected my internet, and yeah, a lot of my phones were disconnecting, and then I had to reconnect them. The streets of Baltimore. What is the best algorithm to mine on PC, in my opinion? I mean, that really depends on your CPU. I mean, you go to hashrate.no and look up your CPU. It'll tell you the best one. I'm just gonna mine Verus because that's what I mine. What is ETHW? What's the best way to mine Verus with a PC? Through Hive OS. So you would have to flash Hive OS onto your hard drive or a USB stick and boot off that USB stick or hard drive, and then go to hiveos.com and mine it that way. That's how. Let me just turn my monitor here. See the RGB right there? That is currently okay, SRB miner. I got so many rejects with SRB miner, and I got a higher hash rate with SRB miner, but I got way more rejects, and like it was like in the 80% range where I was getting, so like 20% were rejects, and then I switched to Hell Miner and all 100%, and it is a lot better to get confirmed. For it to be confirmed than to be rejected. So I'm not. Can you dual boot Windows and Hive OS? You probably can. I just don't know how. I'm not that technically advanced yet. I will be, but not yet. I think it's just the difficulty they set it at. I don't know. I think Luckpool sets their shares at a higher difficulty, and So like, even though you're getting less shares, the difficulty is higher, so it's still worth, so that one share is still worth the 5 shares you get from pool.verus.io. Hey, don't just switch it because of me. Just look at it. If you go on your CPU and you aren't getting lots of rejects, then stick with SRB. That was just my personal experience. Craig Davis. Yes, you can. You have to open up the boot menu first, and then you have to boot off the USB stick. And then, yeah, you can just pull the USB stick out and then boot normally. Yeah, Hive is really for when you want a dedicated mining system for sure. Like I have 6 devices on Hive OS, but I'm only running 4 right now. No. Just YouTube a tutorial on Hive OS, and it is very simple. Like the Verus mobile app? Or like the Verus wallet, like desktop app? Yeah, the Hive OS UI is super easy. Is Hive OS GUI? I have no idea. So like when you first boot up Hive OS, you might have to run some command lines, because like I use TP links for Wi-Fi, and I have to run command lines to get the drivers for TP links. So that's like really the only time I actually, that's the only time I actually do command lines. And yes, Hive OS is very good for GPU mining, like overclocking. But like CPU mining, you can't really do any overclocking on Hive OS, but GPU mining for sure. Graphical user interface. Thank you very much. I learned something new today. Honestly, just look up a YouTube tutorial on how to install Hive OS through a USB stick, and you'll be 100% ready to go. It's that simple. Yes, I could do that. I very much could. In fact, I have a TP link where I could just put over there, but it's running my, 4 PCs right here. I don't know, maybe I can like quickly show off how it does. So this is Hive OS, and these are all my workers. And these are all CPU, and I just have one computer mining Warthog. But this is the UI for it. And I don't know if this will work. You can go like this, and you can go Hive shell start. Because all my systems do not have a graphics card. So if I click this, go like this. Now, 1 second, present, share screen, Shauna box. This is now my computer. Like, I am in my computer right now. Miner. And then there is me mining. Yeah, I do all my overclocking in the BIOS with CPU mining. That can just take some tweaking. What was your reject number? Okay, 1 second. Let's go back on Hive OS. So, my accepted shares are on one device is 99.37. On my second device, it's 99.52. And on my third device that's mining Verus is 99.54. So, not even 1% of my shares are rejects. So yeah, I was told by the guys from Cloud Eco that it's better to have accepted shares than rejected shares in a higher mega hash. So what CPUs am I mining with? So I have 2 mini PCs that I stripped down to bare bones. One has a Ryzen 7 57U in it, and it pulls about 15 watts and it gets about 15 mega hash. And then I have another mini PC that I completely stripped down to bare bones, and it runs it pulls a little bit more, but oh, see you later, Joe. Thanks for stopping by. I have a Ryzen 7 5800H, and it probably pulls a little bit more, and it gets almost exactly the same as the 57U. So the 57U is a lot more worth it. But like, if you're losing 4%, maybe test the difference in mega hash. Maybe that 4% you're losing, maybe the higher mega hash is more than 4%. You know what I mean? Like, you could be doing better with SRB miner. Yeah, I probably worded that wrong for sure. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you everybody for showing up. For everybody who watched the interview with Mike Tout. I need to get dinner going, and I might make an Acroass video today. So yeah, all my referral links down below, and if you want to get Orbic Joys or Q10s at a reasonable price, he ships anywhere in North America. You can go to cryptidcrypto.com. I'll put it in the chat here. And if you use the code paperclip, you get 10% off. If I spelt that wrong, it's in the description box. Sorry, I hit like a tired wall out of nowhere. I was like all hyped up, and then I drank that monster, and for some reason it didn't do anything. So good stream. Thank you, Craig Davis. Thank you for the constant support. Yeah, so I will check you guys later.